This is not a weekly episode. June is Men's Mental Health Month. I sent questions about music and mental health to two gentlemen. They'll have totally different responses. You are not alone. I hope this helps somebody.
What's up, guys? It's Joe again from your friendly neighborhood Boneless Lodge. So Rob sent me over some questions, music related, of course, in regards to men's mental health awareness. So I'm gonna go through them, do my best to go into detail. I'm sure there's gonna be things that I forget or songs that I forget, but I have the questions here, so let's get into it. First question: how has music helped you through difficult times in your life? I think everybody can agree that music helps. It could ease your mind, get your mind off things. But at 42 years old, you're always gonna have moments where you're down on yourself, things aren't going right, and a song comes on the radio, helps relax you. You're at the bar with your buddies, the music's playing in the background. Even if it's not directly relating to the situation you're in, the beat, the lyrics, the singing itself could, relax you. At the very least, relax you mentally, physically, emotionally, and bring you back to center, so to speak. Is there a particular song or artist that has gotten you through a mental health struggle? There's always, a song. It's not a song in particular, but always particular songs that always come up. Desperado by the Eagles. Voice gives me shit. Austin by Blake Shelton, one of my favorite songs. And there's been countless songs throughout the years that in specific moments just came and went. Artist wise, there's always artists that I keep in rotation. Bon Jovi, the Eagles, Hootie and the Blowfish, that always relax me in the sense that I could always sing along. The beat, the words, the lyrics, even if it's not related to anything I'm going through, they make me feel good. You don't have to be going through something particularly for music to relax you. So, next question: when you're feeling overwhelmed, what kind of music do you turn to? I've been around enough. I've met different people that different music has come into my life. Whether it's country or R&B, that it's not one specific kind, right? If you look at my playlist, it's whenever I had a playlist, whether it's on my iTunes or on my phone or on Spotify, it's completely random. So I don't have a single type, just music in general. It's probably easier to say which music would I not listen to when overwhelmed. I might not listen to heavy metal in that moment. It might not be harder gangster rap, but not saying that it won't work, it won't help. Next question is: do you use music as an escape, a coping tool, or both? Um, I'd say both. You know, using it as an escape is a coping tool, right? And take you to a specific moment when you're happy. It take you to a moment with your friends. Take you to a moment, uh, a bad moment. It's an escape. You might hear a mashup with one of your favorite movies that was completely unrelated, and it takes you to that moment when you saw that movie. So, using it as an escape, in my opinion, is a coping tool. And if it distracts you for 5 seconds, 5 minutes, or an hour, help you relax, breathe, and refocus. How does music affect your mood on a bad day? Well, depending on the song, it could, definitely improve your mood. If it's a, song, if the wrong song comes on the wrong time, it could turn everything around, make it worse, make it better. But if you know which music helps you or helps me, it definitely can positively affect it. I know if I put on Hootie and the Blowfish, even if it's a sad song, it's going to improve my mood. So you just have to know which music does it for you. During periods of depression, does music help you feel understood? Absolutely. Because whether it's Southern rock or Linkin Park or friggin' Hootie and the Blowfish again. It especially if you're from a specific, regional, make you feel understood from a regional aspect, background, religious, religious music, gospel music, whatever your religion is, that makes you feel understood on a personal level as opposed to a broad scale. So, culturally, age-wise, male, female, Taylor Swift might make, women feel more understood, right? Or, men might, feel more understood by, Leonard Skinner, just to use an example. Have lyrics ever expressed feelings you couldn't put into words yourself? Yeah, I mean, to use the token thing we've seen in movies, music videos, love songs. You can't quite figure out what you want to say, and then all of a sudden you hear Boyz II Men, and you're like, there it is. Or if you're pissed off at somebody and you don't know how to say it, and then all of a sudden you hear that one song, and I hope you get hit by a truck. I pray for you, right? So, and even if you don't use those words from that song, at least it can help you get out what you want to say. You know what I mean? It inspires you to, say what you want to feel. Are there songs that give you hope when you're struggling? I would say yeah, of course. What's hard with me if there's specific songs, like there's just so many. I've heard so many, and over the years it's changed, so it's hard for me to say a specific song. Probably the one that sticks out the most, or two, actually. It's Right Now from Van Halen, or three. Right now from Van Halen, um, Dream On by Aerosmith, and It's My Life by Bon Jovi. I always joke that at any point those would have been three of my entrance songs if I was a pro wrestler. You know, it's like, it's your life, man. Live it. Dream on, keep on dreaming. Never stop dreaming. Never stop believing, if you will. And don't forget about right now. You gotta do what you gotta do. So, does creating music or listening to music help lift your mood? I'm not musically inclined, but I know people that are. Whether it's playing the guitar, the drums, or the trumpet, trombone, whatever musical instrument, and I see how they are, so I know it lifts their mood. But definitely listening to it. I mean, the right songs at the right times. If you're down, it can lift you up. If you're already up, it can just make your time that much better. And I've been to bars with my buddies when I was feeling down, and music comes on the jukebox or on over the radio, lifted me up. You're out there sitting around the bonfire with your buddies, and music comes on, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're belting out Friends in Low Places. So listening to music definitely lifts up your mood. And as somebody who's not musically inclined but knows people that are, I've seen how they are playing that guitar, and it definitely changes their mood. What message would I share with other men battling depression? Never give up. You're not allowed to quit. Never allowed to quit. Don't let anybody tell you that you don't matter. And that's a direct quote from our truth. Don't let anybody tell you that you don't matter. Your depression is a feeling, but don't let it control you. Remember, you're in charge. And don't ever let it get the best of you. Never quit. Never surrender. Never give up. How does music help calm your anxiety? I can't tell you how many times I've felt anxious, and
What's up, everybody? This is Brian here. This is a recording for the Robin John Concert Junkies podcast. We're answering questions today about music and mental health.
How has music helped you through difficult times in your life?
Music has been a go-to for mental health for me for a long time. I really don't do much TV, but whenever I'm going through something, there's music out there to help you. There's music out there that'll describe the way that you're feeling, to help you process feelings, to help you try and overcome how your reactions are to things. So music has been big in helping me with different mental health issues over the years.
Is there a particular song or artist that has gotten you through mental health struggles?
There are a couple of songs and artists. Artist-wise, you got Alice in Chains, you got Shinedown. Switch of genres, but like the Commodores, groups like that. As far as songs, you got Call Me by Shinedown. You got Through the Ghost by Shinedown. You got Nutshell by Alice in Chains. Sail On by the Commodores. A lot of different ones. There's a lot of different ones, but yeah, those are just the top few.
When you're feeling overwhelmed, what kind of music do you turn to?
When I'm feeling overwhelmed, There's a couple different areas I might go with that. I might go with classic soul. I might go with 70s and 80s classic rock. Some trance music. Just depends upon what I'm going through at the time as far as what's overloading me at the time as far as what genre that I go to.
Do you use music as an escape, a coping tool, or both?
Both. It's an escape because I can lose myself in the lyrics of a song and it takes me out of my present mindset and takes me somewhere else. But I also sometimes use it as a coping mechanism. Like if I'm angry or something like that, I can play some music, and vibing with that particular music helps me process those feelings, whether it's anger, whether it's depression, whether it's whatever's overwhelming me at the moment. Kind of defines what direction I go with that, but I do use both.
How does music affect your mood on a bad day?
On a bad day, music can bring my mood up. If I'm having a bad day, it depends upon what it is. I can go find some songs and I can just kind of let everything out of my mind through those songs, whether it be singing along with them, closing my eyes, listening to them, or whatever the mood calls for. So,
during periods of depression, does music help you feel understood?
During times of depression, does music help me make me feel understood? Not necessarily understood. That's kind of a gray area. As far as during times of depression, it can help me get through some emotions. It can help me get through some thoughts that are in my mind. It can help me process those and get past them so that I can lift my mood. So that would probably be the best answer I could give you.
Have lyrics ever expressed feelings you couldn't put into words yourself?
Yes, they have. They have. Sometimes in life we get so overloaded with what the world weighs down on us with. We lose or at least I can speak for me, I lose the ability to sometimes express or articulate what I'm going through. And sometimes music does help me do that. It helps give me the clarity to go through and say what I need to say, because when you're overwhelmed, obviously that's very difficult. So yeah, music has helped with that.
Are there songs that give you hope when you're struggling?
There was a long time I would say yes. I wouldn't necessarily give me hope, but maybe give me strength to keep pushing to get through, and maybe that could be equated to a form of hope, but that would be my best answer there.
Does creating music or listening to music help lift your mood?
Yes, absolutely. I could be having an day, maybe not feeling well physically, maybe not feeling well mentally. Yes, music can definitely change my mood. It can bring a smile to my face, make me laugh. So that would definitely be a yes on it. Can help lift my mood.
What message would you share with other men battling depression?
Don't give up. I dealt with that for a lot of years and still have my issues with it. But giving up hope brings more harm to the people around you and the people that you love, whether you realize it or not. So don't give up. You got to push through it. Find somebody, talk to them, reach out somewhere. It takes more courage as a man to reach out and ask for help than it does to just suffer in silence and go alternative methods.
How does music help calm your anxiety?
Again, calming my anxiety, putting the music on and focusing on the music, whether it be the beat, whether it be the lyrics. It can change you if you let it. You can change you if you really immerse yourself in it. So that would probably be the best description on how that would help me.
Do you have a playlist specifically for stressful situations?
I absolutely do. It's called my Unstoppable Playlist, and it is on YouTube Music. So I do have a playlist, and it's composed of a bunch of different genres, a bunch of different groups, but it's ones that I know will help either lift my mood or change my direction of thinking while I'm doing. So yes, I do have a playlist.
What sounds or genres do you feel grounded and relaxed? Help you feel grounded and relaxed?
All right, we're going to go through a couple of ages. One, the late 60s and 70s soul music, the funk music from back then. The 80s bands like Queensryche, stuff like that. Non-typical ones that a lot of people may or may not know. Not so much the new stuff, with the exception of like, again, Shinedown. Shinedown's a big one for me. Yeah, those are some that I highly recommend. Taking a listen to, because you listen to the words and you listen to the story behind the words and understand the deeper meaning. It just, in my opinion, it has no choice but to help you.
Have you ever used music to help manage panic attacks or anxious thoughts?
Anxiety, yes. Panic attacks, no. Yes, because with the anxiety, whenever I learn to step back and find out what's making me anxious, I can play music to help me. Whether it's in the background, whether I'm physically just focused in on the music, or if I'm listening to the track in the background while I'm trying to process what's going on, it does help with the anxiety. So yeah.
How quickly can music change your mindset when you're anxious?
Honestly, with the right song, it could be within 5 minutes, 10 minutes, something like that. Get the music and actually take the time to stop and focus, take a deep breath, listen to the music, let it calm the thoughts, and then you go through and process after, once you're calm. So,
has music played a role in your healing from trauma?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. A lot of times as men, you don't really know how to express your feelings. You don't want to express your feelings because we grew up in a society that men don't have feelings. And music can help you inside your own head process those to deal with grief and emotions. So, yeah.
Are there songs that bring comfort during difficult memories or triggers?
Oh, yes. Like if I'm going through a difficult time, or I remember something I don't necessarily want to remember, or don't want to think about, or don't want to deal with, I can lose myself in music. Like a big one for me is Five Finger Death Punch. They have a lot of great stuff, especially for the military side of things. So yeah.
Has music ever helped you feel safe or connected during a tough moment?
Maybe not during the moment, but before and after, yeah. Because I know me, in a tough moment and everything else, I become hyper focused on what's going on and what's taking place and what needs to be done, and less on the things around me. And sometimes that includes my personal safety. But after, yeah, I go to the music to help me deal with my thoughts after the fact.
Do certain songs help you process emotions related to past experiences?
Yes, absolutely, 100%. As you know, like there's music that, like say I'm thinking about my daughter, because I lost my daughter March 22nd of this year. There are some songs that I can listen to that help me cope and bring happier memories in to help me process through those particular moments. So yeah, there are. That's absolutely fact.
What advice would you give someone using music as part of their healing journey?
Learn how to categorize your music. And I say that by meaning there's some music that you don't need to listen to if you're going through a depressive moment. You need to find things that are categorically aligned with whatever you're processing and going through. But definitely use music. If you don't feel like you have other options, use music. Think about it. Find it. If I'm depressed, I'm not going to listen to depressing songs. If I'm happy, I'm going to listen to happy songs. If I'm angry, I'm not going to listen to violent songs. I'm going to try and listen to something that de-escalates the mood. That would be my best advice.
Why do you think many men struggle to talk about mental health?
Oh, it's a generational feeling that you get because you were raised. Boys don't cry, boys don't have emotion, boys don't this, men don't this, that, and the other. And don't get me wrong, it's something that needs to be dealt with, because it is okay to not be okay. It is okay to have emotions and feelings. But we have to start teaching the younger generations that, because with the way that we grew up, it was a completely different type of society and upbringing. So that's probably the biggest reason.
Has music helped you express emotions you normally keep bottled up?
Um, the right song definitely can. You know, if it's a song that really fucking pings and resonates with you, yeah, it can bring up unresolved feelings and emotions and how you deal with them.
Do you think musicians and artists have helped reduce the stigma around men's mental health?
In large, no, I do not. There are some groups out there that do to try and do that, but I still think it's something that needs to be worked on. But I don't think as a whole it's done that way. But also, it also comes down from the individual listener, because if you and I listen to a song, we listen to it two different ways. You get a different meaning than I do out of it because it resonates with me differently. So that's